Morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time it is, wherever you're coming from, Cowboys Nation, you know the drill. Welcome to the Double XO Show.
What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome to our very first episode of our series, Locked in Oxnard, where we talk about everything involved with Dallas Cowboys Training Camp. And as always, I am your host, Zach White. With me, Mr. Daryl Clark and Camber Michelle. What is going on?
What's up, fam?
How's it going? How's the weekend been, guys? How's the weekend?
It's good, man. Look, I got a question for you guys, and we got to move this show along. I got a question for you guys.
Sure.
After this, I got a cookout coming. Here's my question to you. How do you know when your cookout is about to get real? How do you know? What food is at a real cookout?
I already know the answer to this, but I'm going to go with ribs. Ribs.
You close. Ribs is safe. You never can go wrong with the ribs.
Gotta have ribs.
What you got?
Barbecue.
How do you know?
Down here, it's brisket.
Brisket ain't bad. Brisket ain't bad.
It's always brisket.
But I am telling you, when you get to a family cookout, not your friends, not people you trying to impress, it gets real, y'all, when you got hot links and white bread. Not hot dog buns. Look, not Zach, not baguettes. White bread.
Baguettes.
That soak up that sauce, bro, with them hot links. Oh, Lord. Let's move it along.
Thought you were gonna talk some ballpark Franks or something like.
Hot links, not Johnsonville brats, Zach. Not Johnsonville brats with cheddar in the middle.
Hey.
No.
Hey,
Hot links.
We got that Earl Campbell stuff down here, bro. Okay, all right, we ready down here. We know what it is. Okay, so
Ryan's got his own too.
yeah, Nolan Ryan too. Yep, that's another one. All right, so first and foremost, let's break it. I mean, we got news. We got big news, important news, and it's I would say it's pretty.
Hey man, hold on.
What happened?
Dang, bro, you gotta date us for a little bit. You trying to go all in with business?
It's business.
How about some foreplay?
That's
you asked me
what
how my
we are
weekend was.
here
We didn't hear how
for.
Cam's weekend was, brother.
Break it down, Cam. What's going on? Because all I've been doing all weekend. Hold on, I'm gonna cut you off just real quick. All I've been doing all weekend is watching these shaky cell phone videos of training camp. Okay, that's been the highlight of my weekend. I ain't done nothing else. That's all I got. Cam, go ahead.
Mine has been a low-key, not do anything really kind of weekend. Hung out around the house, watched videos and camp, and I just tweeted it out. This is my first weekend since April of 2020. I have not had either a football game or a NASCAR race to watch.
Ooh,
It's been a struggle.
it hurts.
The struggle, guys.
It hurts.
The struggle.
NASCAR is
real.
off for the 2 weeks because of the Olympics. BC
Oh,
covers
the Olympics
NASCAR
are on.
right now.
The Olympics.
Yeah.
Are you
So
guys
I
big
haven't
Olympic
watched
people?
the Olympics. I mean, I was a competitive swimmer. I'm all in watching the swimming. It's been fantastic.
It's gymnastics and swimming right now. Gymnastics and swimming.
Right. So, but yeah, no, it's a rare weekend. I'm home. You know, I did it up in Nashville last weekend and taking it low key because here in like another week, I'll be up in the hood with D. I'll be up in Seattle.
Ooh,
so
Washington. You don't watch the Olympics, Zach? I sense non-patriotic energy coming.
That's the energy you're getting, and it doesn't get much more unpatriotic than that. I mean, other than cooking bratwurst at a barbecue, because
with buns.
No,
and that's
No buns.
But it's true. No, I do not really keep up with the Olympics. Every once in a while, I mean, it's hard not to watch Simone Biles when she's on. H-Town represent, by the way. It's hard not to watch her, but I don't pay a lot of attention to. I don't care about the Olympics. Football is back. Football's back. We have training camp. I get to watch some shaky cell phone videos. I don't care. It's football and it's back. That's the only thing I care about right now. I don't give a damn about nothing else. No Olympics, no barbecues, just football. All right? That's all I'm worried about.
Bro, you need to be well-rounded. You need to round out your life.
I needed this. I needed this in my life. Now we're going to dive into business. Yes.
All right.
And especially because this is some exciting news. Malik Hooker, we are pretty much going to sign him. So there's that. The deal with Malik Hooker is, so he's only 25, right? He's only played in 36 games over the last 4 years, 146 tackles, 7 interceptions, 11 pass defense. So he went out last year, only played 2 games with that torn Achilles, and he tore his ACL his rookie season. So there's definitely some injury history there. But if you get this guy to play to half of what he is or what he can be, this is a really, really great addition. He's a guy, this is a true free safety. This is not somebody that you want to necessarily put in the box, especially with that injury history there. Not to say that he could not play it, because I'm sure he could. I wouldn't do it, but a very, very talented true free safety. He's a ball hawk. He's got so much skill, and I think this is a really good addition to this team. Cam, what do you think about the addition of Malik Hooker?
I think it's fantastic. I'm going to be completely honest. This is our third player that we've taken with an Achilles injury. So
Yes.
that does give me some concern, but I think it says more about what they're feeling about Kazee than anything else. They're bringing in someone already.
Exactly. That's the part that kind of concerns me as well. I've been hearing a lot of word that KZ is actually, especially today, he was getting some second team reps as opposed to first teams. They had Curse in there with the first team for quite a bit of the practice. That's, you can look at that one or two ways. I mean, a lot of guys are getting some rotation right now, so it's perfectly understandable in camp, trying to see, how guys do against elite level competition or second string, first string competition, and see how they fare. So that's one way to look at it. But the KZ thing is the writing feels like it's on the wall, but we're still not 100% sure. But supposedly Malik Hooker is at Oxnard currently, so they are waiting for him to clear some of his medicals, and he's got to go through COVID protocol. Speaking of which, COVID protocol, the league came down with a new set of protocols and rules for what happens if you violate or break those rules. D, are you for it or are you against it?
Ooh. Look, man, I know that this is we've heard this bounced around, especially all this week. Look, I'm gonna jump into the deep end of the pool. I'm not signing a player if they're not vaccinated. I think with the understanding of the NFL policy, they're not playing. It's not going to be like last year. And while I know it's a sensitive subject for a lot of people, I think it becomes and I'm always going to be, it's a team thing. And I don't think any one player is worth the risk of losing multiple games or your season. NFL football is not like NBA or baseball where you have, 80 or 100 games. These guys got 17 games, and 2 games makes, all the difference in the world. So I don't think any one player, any one individual player, look at what happened with Denver last year. One quarterback got put in the protocol, and the whole room got wiped out. They had to actually not play a game. So for those reasons, and understanding what the NFL is doing with stuff like that this year, I wouldn't sign any player unless I absolutely had to. I wouldn't sign any player that was not vaccinated. So if Hooker's not vaccinated, wouldn't sign him.
That's interesting. That's an interesting take. I'm not opposed to that. I'm on the fence about it. I understand these players maybe have their own reasons, and we know guys like D-Hop, big name guys have came out and have spoken about it, about possibly retiring. And I know I believe one coach went ahead and resigned over there in was that Minnesota, and one possibly got fired, is what it sounds like, over there in New England. Mm-hmm. So the league is taking this thing seriously. They're in the business of making money, and business is good. So they got to do what they got to do to protect the shield, and that's what they've always done, and that's what they're going to continue to do. Now, I'm an ultra competitive person, so I just know that if one of these players, I know a player on my team who is unvaccinated, and he calls me to lose my game paycheck and calls my team to take a loss, we are getting some socks and some soap, and we're gonna throw it down on this guy. Okay, I'm completely against that portion of it, and it sucks, but it is what it is, and sometimes you just have to play by the rules, and that's kind of what you got to get into, and at the end of the day, that's what the league wants to do. That's what they're gonna do, and you have to follow the rules. What do you think, Cam?
I think they opened Pandora's box, to tell you the truth, because you're not going to tell D-Hops, sorry, you know, not going to play because of it. I think for the health of the team, for the happiness of the team, and just like you're saying, you know, you're going to have players turn against each other, especially if they cause them to lose a game, you know, forfeit a game. We read that, you know, if the game gets forfeited, nobody gets paid at all. So it's going to bring that in. Like I said, I think it opens Pandora's box. I can see both sides as to why someone wouldn't want to be vaccinated for personal reasons. And I think it's a mess, is what I think. I really think it's a mess at this point.
I tend to agree, but guys, look, we all work. I think sometimes we don't understand. People lose sight that the NFL is a business. And, I work for an employer too, and I don't agree with everything. And my employer doesn't make, I have a choice, right, as an employee. My employer can't make me get vaccinated, but they can, as a condition of coming into their workplace, say that I have to be. Now, that's my choice. My pet peeve is all of these athletes, whether it be Aaron Rodgers, Hopkins, Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson, it doesn't matter. They all do the same thing. When they don't like something, they go on, retire. Here's my advice to you. Retire. The league's going to go on, guys. You know that, right? And one of the things I love about the NFL is that it's bigger than any one player, even its biggest star. An Aaron Rodgers, a Dak Prescott, a Tom Brady. The league is bigger than any individual. Cole Beasley. And if that's their point, if that's their stance, I don't want to, I'm going to retire. Guys, retire. I promise you there's going to be games in September, October when you retire, and I promise you we're watching.
Yeah.
So that stance, I don't care about when they say it. It actually irks me a little bit. I'm going to retire. Right.
And again, it is. It's one of those things. Like, I don't necessarily agree with it, but it is what it is. I've been told by my job before, there are plenty of people lined up waiting to have your position outside the gate. So that's exactly what it is. It's unfortunate. Nobody likes it, but it's the cold, hard truth, and it is what it is.
We touched on it earlier. All the Tier 1 employees are they're mandated that they have to be vaccinated.
Right.
They don't have a choice in Tier 1 where the players do, and we kind of talked about it earlier this week where that's the difference between union and non-union.
Do you think it could get to... have a choice. They do have a choice. Even the Tier 1 guys, they do have a choice. But if you choose not to be vaccinated, you're not going to be employed, right?
Right.
That's your choice. And if you so strongly, those personal convictions are real. But look, if you have another way to make, and these guys, we're talking anywhere from 40 million down to 2 million. If you have another way to earn that, and you want to walk away from that money, go ahead. But people act like vaccinations or this vaccine, guys, is any different than any other vaccination. So I would challenge D-Hop. Does he have the polio or smallpox? Vaccinations?
It's interesting if you think about if some of these guys start to actually band together, right? Some of these star players and they all go in on it and they don't want to do it and they decide to not play, then it becomes like a replacements type situation. that's definitely still a possibility. I don't see it going that far. I think everybody's kind of, it seems like at least, majority of the league is pretty in on getting the vaccination, and just being done with it and playing football. But it's still definitely, it's not what's outside the realm of possibility. I think there are some guys who really don't want it. And I think I saw another one too. It was, who's the running back for Tampa Bay, had recently tweeted
Leonard
out.
Fournette.
Leonard Fournette. Yeah.
Leonard Fournette.
I believe he said that the vaccine's not for him. So you get enough guys together, and who knows what's going to happen. I hope it doesn't come to that, because I need football in my life. But it's one of those things where, you're worried about people's health and what they decide to do with their bodies. It's their choice. Can't be mad at them for it. I can't.
No.
They're going to take the stance. It's not even approved by the FDA at this point. No,
But
they
neither
don't
are
have
vitamins.
No, I get it. But that's what they're going to ride. That something's being pushed on them that's not even dated, or FDA hasn't approved. So
yeah,
it's Pandora's box that they've opened up with.
It is.
Yeah.
And I know it's a sensitive one, but again, look, we all want football, but at the end of the day, I know that, and those guys should know, if you go back to any labor, for the most part, when the players go up against the owners, when the owners make up their mind, the players are going to lose. And the players are always going to lose is because those guys are billionaires and they're millionaires, and billionaires can go a lot longer without the money than a millionaire. And so, if the league is dead set and this is their policy, like I said, whether it's whatever star, name them, go ahead, walk away, because the league is not going to ultimately lose. They're going to get, their way with these, with the players. And I just think it's in everyone's best interest. I think it's, even socially, mine, yours, whatever, it's, it's better for society if we are. And I think the players should get on board with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
they proved that with the strike and brought in the scrubs, that year. They were like, we're still having football. Look at it. We brought in these scrubs.
Okay. Well,
don't want to play, fine.
I don't want to think about that, because we're already really close to the season, and I'm not trying to have that throw me off. We almost got football here. Dallas Cowboys football. 3 days worth of training camp has already happened, and it's been an exciting 3 days. A lot has happened, and we're going to discuss kind of what went down over these 3 days. But first, we want to start off with the pup list, right? You got some pretty big names on there. You got Cooper. You got D. Law, and you got Hill on there. And Hill is that name that I look at and I circle, and I think, man, he really cannot afford to be on this list right now with all the competition, the new competition that he's got in at that position for 3-tech. And you got guys like Urban, you got Gallimore, you got even the new rookie Odigizua. You got some names on there that are ready to come and play, and they're getting some pretty good hype.
What was his name again?
Odigizua. Odigizua. I said it right. Odigizua. I'll say it again. I got it right. All right. I've done my homework. I've done it. Oh, Diggy, whatever you want to call him. Anyway, these guys they've come in and they're starting to prove themselves, and they're getting a lot of talk around them at camp so far. Especially, I know is one of those guys, and I actually haven't heard a lot about Urban just yet, but I'm sure he's still one of those guys who's there's a lot of rotation, so we'll see. But so Cam, what do you think about Hill right now, and his position and where he's at currently on the pup list, and how does it affect him?
He's in danger. I think he's in big time danger.
Yep.
He needs to be out there showing, and he's not. And after injuries and everything with him, and the year before we dealt with his attitude, and someone made a comment. Oh, it was in the LVE interview with 105.3 The Fan the other day. And LVE said that this rookie class, that they're not complaining. They're not, there's no whining going on. And I almost want to think that goes back to the year that Hill was a rookie. Yes. Maybe he was one that complained a lot. So yes. I think Hill is already a fringe guy at this point. We've seen out of him in the past, the injury, and now he's not even out there competing for his job.
Yeah. It's definitely a concern, especially coming in with like a new coaching staff as well on the defensive side of the ball. He's got a lot to prove. I don't think it's necessarily that. We'll see how it all lines out. I'm not going to count him out. We'll see how everything goes. I don't even know. I haven't really heard too much of a timetable for his return yet. I think they're just kind of slowly working him back in. I think the same with what I'm hearing with D-Law and Malik Hooker as well, that they're both slated to return at some point in time over the preseason. They're just dealing with some minor work that they got done on the offseason. But speaking of minor work, Blake Jarwin is back and healthy to some extent. He is out there. Got a little rust on him to shake off, but from some of the highlights, some of the videos I saw of the first and I believe the second day of training camp, he looked to be doing pretty well. He was out there, he's making moves, he's making some catches. But as of today, or the last two practices really, Schultz has kind of taken over. Schultz has been shining. D, what do you think about Schultz versus Jarwin, and who ends up taking this number one spot overall before the season starts?
Interesting, but hold on, man. I'm gonna date myself because I'm the old head, so I'm gonna tell you this. So you're telling me back to this pup list. You never remember. You're the baby of the group. Cam, you remember Lost in Space?
Yeah.
Zach, you have no idea. Lost in Space.
So
you're telling me that the robot is yelling, Tristan Hill, Danger. You don't even remember. See, Zach, look at you. Look at you.
No, it's not coming about.
Lost in Space.
You didn't miss much. Wasn't that?
What was this, a TV? Is it a TV series?
Well, when you start saying danger, that's the popped in my head. Danger, Will Robinson. You look like Will Robinson. Anyway, your question was Jarwin. Marsha.
Hold the attention. Not anymore.
Anyway.
Should he be scared? Should he be scared? Should he be concerned? No. Should he be looking over his shoulder?
Look, this is the third practice, right? I mean, the guy's coming off of ACL. Look, I love Blake Jarwin. I love the guys when he's healthy. I love the guy's athleticism. With this roster, and again, I'm going to preface that, it's the guys that are around him. I promise you, if you put a weak linebacker or a safety that can't cover on that guy, Dalton Schultz, he was never going to give you any explosive plays. He was safe. The guy's going to catch the ball, right? He's safe. Jarwin will get in that ass. You single up Jarwin with that speed. To me, he's a poor man's Travis Kelce. I love the guy. He's the one that I want on the field when you got CeeDee Lamb, Gallup, and Cooper out there with Zeke. I want that guy because if you screw around and don't pay attention to Blake Jarwin, he is going to go over the top on you. That's how much I love that guy. I think he's explosive, and I think he's a better catcher of the football than Dalton Schultz. I just think that guy is a safe tight end. I don't think he's explosive. I don't think he's as athletic. So should any of these guys that's not a top 5 on the roster be worried? Well, sure. But I like Jarwin better, and I think he has the potential to be more explosive with the guys we put around him. I like Jarwin.
I tend to agree with that. I can see that. I think the hard part is how much of this is rust, right? Because there's going to be some of that coming back from injury, but also, I mean, it has to be just slightly concerning, right? Because you always worry about how a player is going to come back, how they are going to bounce back from an injury, and I don't see anything wrong with it. If you got Schultz and you got Jarwin both out there and they're both producing, and then whether Jarwin comes around to mid form, in the middle of the season or whatever it is, I mean, you've got opportunities to run 12, 22 personnel. I love that. You have more weapons. You have more weapons for Dak Prescott with an already loaded weapon room. I mean, there's just so many options that you have out there, and I'm not concerned so much. I'm glad that Schultz got that extra season kind of in there and those reps. And I think it's only made him better for sure. And he's out there. He's proven it. I know that you said that you had seen some, or no, I'm sorry, it was a one-handed catch that he had today. Was that what happened?
Yeah, it was a beautiful one hand.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Snagged.
So, so what you're saying, Zach, is that the robot for Tristan Hill is not yelling danger at Dalton Schultz. He's yelling at Blake Jarwin. Sure, Blake Jarwin. Sure. No? I'm getting the robot, bro. I'm
the
getting
guy
this robot just to yell to all the players that are on the bubble.
I gotta add that. I need to add that soundbite now. Like, I'm gonna have to add the soundbite. That's.
I don't think Jarwin's in trouble, and I think it's not a bad problem for us to have that we have two very solid tight ends.
Yes.
We're sitting pretty when it comes to it, and it's not going to matter who's tight end 1, tight end 2. Between them, we've got a good quality player that's going to be out there on the field for it. So,
agreed. So also another thing that I kind of wanted to get into is Nashawn Wright. Right, there's all the hype, a lot of build up around him. The first 2 days, again, he comes out. He's getting pass breakups. He's looking really good. You can see that fluidity, that length that he has, looking really smooth. Even against better competition. I saw him break up a pass against Michael Gallup. Today, the third day, not so much. He seemed like, he did have a pretty good battle with Noah Brown. They were kind of going back and forth. As a matter of fact, the receivers and the quarterbacks were going back and forth all day long. Diggs and Lamb, they had a really good battle today. CD actually caught a one-hander on him. Diggs broke up a pass on him. It was just they were just back and forth, man, between the DBs and the wide receivers, and it was a beautiful thing. But Nashawn Wright, he's one of those guys. He has a lot of potential. I'm not 100% sold. I don't think that. We are not in pads yet. We'll see what happens, but I don't think he's just going to come in and lock down that CB2 spot just yet. I think he still has quite a bit to learn. But it is promising. It's really, really good to see things like that. And matter of fact, another guy that I've been seeing too and hearing a lot, and of course, and you almost hate to say it because, just everybody's, of course, going to give him extra praise and extra hype because he's his first-round pick. But Micah Parsons has been rushing. He's been on the line nonstop. And from everything that we can see, it looks really good. He's getting extra reps when he can against Tyron Smith. After practice, he's working with Dan Quinn before practice, and that's exactly what I want to see in my rookie linebacker. And I'm even hearing good things about him in coverage. So that's exciting. That's exciting. But I actually watched a little bit of Talking Cowboys today, and Nate was saying that basically the same thing, right? That he has been the highlight of camp so far. He's been the player that he pays most attention to, and it's just been looking really, really solid. So that's exciting. But what have you guys been hearing from camp as far as any players or any news on any guys that seem to be like standing out or not doing so well?
Okay, we can go to me. Actually, Simi's had a couple of good catches. It stood out on a few things. So That's solid. I honestly believe he's going to be wide receiver 5 or 6 on this team. I don't doubt that he's going to make it at this point.
Nice.
Now, if we can go back to the corners, there's one thing that we didn't talk about that supposedly we signed that corner from the Jets. His agent is out there telling everybody, Kyron Brown.
Yeah.
I've got to think that's more of a special teams type of thing or another body in camp. That maybe they're not seeing something out of someone. Yeah, they're bringing him in for, but
that's interesting because it says that it basically filled out the 90-man roster. But if you bring in Malik Hooker, who's going?
91.
Who's going? And yeah, that's one thing that I'm already like, maybe is it a guy who maybe doesn't have the vaccine. Maybe he hasn't. Maybe he's not vaccinated and he's not showing up in camp so far. But God, 3 days into camp and 3 practices, and they're already maybe potentially letting go of somebody. That's crazy.
You got to think who we haven't heard a word about. We haven't heard a word about Vasher. We haven't heard a make me try to say his name. Metafawi.
What's his name?
Help me out. Say it to me. His name.
Number
Israel.
Izzy. Mukiamu.
Okay.
Something like
him.
That. Yeah.
I haven't heard a peep about him. There's some of these guys that we have not heard an ounce about.
Right.
And you got to start to wonder, especially if they're bringing in other bodies at this point already, which I actually applaud them for. Yeah. Instead of them wait until it's late, they're grabbing what's out there to bring it in to work things through. Because, are we looking that Kazee is this year's ha-ha dicks? What are we seeing here?
Yes.
Yeah, without pads on, who knows? Hey, do we have him, man? Have we got enough money for a sound effect machine yet? Someone give me let me give you guys a bold prediction.
We need a cash app. Let me put out the cash app, okay? We need to make a cash.
We got that guy who
we need
does
a
all
sound
the movie
machine.
Theater trailers.
Jesus.
We got enough money to hire Michael Buffett yet? He could do our intro, bro. We need somebody. Y'all help us out. We need to get a sound effect machine, man. Anyway, I'm gonna give you. Look, you guys talked about Parsons, and every time I see anything or I think about it, I'm gonna give you guys. If this team is healthy, I'm gonna give you guys a bold prediction. This team is gonna finish top 10 in sacks. Top 10 in sacks. When you think about all the stuff, right, that you're hearing about Gregory and his bend and athleticism and explosiveness. And look, I talk ish about D-Law, but the guy, you know what I mean? Can you imagine, guys, seriously, a Gallimore, OC push up the middle, whether that's Urban, those 3 guys pushing that middle with a Parsons, with a D-Law, with a Gregory.
Right.
Coming at guys, I am telling if this defense stays healthy, I think they're going to finish top 10 in the league in sacks. I really do. We got some guys with some explosive pedigree that's coming after. We're coming after quarterbacks this year. I really do believe that.
The one thing I keep hearing everybody saying about Parsons over and over is how fast he is. He's quick. He's fast. He gets there. He's going across the field and like beating Jalen where Jalen should have been, which their story. Want to talk about Lost in Space? 9 is lost in space out there.
Well, another thing I'm hearing,
he should be in danger. Hire the robot for Lost in Space, man, and go behind Jalen Smith.
I gotta get it now. Danger, Will Robinson. I gotta get it now. Now I have to get it. But speaking of Lost in Space, and this is one that one of our sources have actually told us about too, is especially today, Keanu Neal did not look like he was having a great day in coverage. So that's another one that we maybe need to be a little bit concerned about. But I'm not that concerned. And why I'm not concerned is because he's moving to a new position, right? The guy has played safety. There's nuances. There's things that you have to learn. You have to retrain yourself for a different position, right? So he's going to be a linebacker now. And I know he played in the box before as a strong safety, but it's still different. It's night and day. It's going to take time for him to adjust to that. I'm not really worried about that. I think he's going to be a pretty big contributor on this team a little later on down the road. Maybe not right off the bat, but I definitely think he's still one of the. I mean, he makes this squad. I can say that right now. But he's got to learn the ins and outs.
It's not only that for me. It's not only that for me, Z-Man. We're talking about, and we're all excited, right? But we're talking 3 days into practice.
No pads.
And look, we got to remember, man, practice is where these guys are trying stuff, right? Yeah. They're working on different, they're playing guys out of position. They're working on technique. You make mistakes in practice. That's where they want you to make them. Be aggressive. Try different techniques. That's what it's for. So I think we just we go off the deep end. If a player gets beat or a quarterback throws a pick, let them. Right? Yes. Until you get a couple of preseason games in, we want these guys to, you know what I mean, to be making aggressive mistakes or, you know, or trying things that we don't know. Maybe they're trying a different technique or, you know, or got a different key or something like that. So we're 3 days in. The Nashawn Wright thing, the Neil thing. It's like, you know what? If they're making mistakes 3 days into practice, I don't think it's a big deal. Like I said, we get into, you know, that second preseason game and you're seeing, and only the coaches will know, right? You're seeing players that are making the same consistent mistakes, then you're concerned. For me, at least, that's the way I see it.
No, absolutely. I completely agree with that. And I mean, so one of the things that is I'm very excited about, and again, there's no pads right now, but just to see that number 77 back out there and 71, both looking healthy, both looking like they're in great shape, especially Smith. My God, the man doesn't even look human. To be in the league this long and to still maintain just that form and to be that talented, I mean, people forget. They really forget. People, you know, before even draft because of the injuries, and I understand because it is concerning. But people were, you know, all but ready to kind of almost move on from him, or we're finding his replacement. This guy is probably he is one of the top 3 left tackles in this league. And
absolutely,
it's so easy to forget because we've been so lucky. We've had that statue of a man for so long. The talent is it's a beautiful thing. I'm just happy to see him back on the field doing what he always does, and it's a beautiful thing to watch it.
It's amazing, man, to hear you. We've gotten so accustomed to Tyron Smith. That guy is 30 years old. Yeah. I mean, he's been in the league for so long. He's not 35, 36. He's 30 years old. I mean, now look, he's had a lot of health things going on, but when he's right, you don't mess with that. When that guy's healthy and he's right, you know what I mean? We have, like you said, we have a top 5 left tackle in the league when he's healthy and stuff. So I'm glad to see. Now, I'm going to tell you who concerns me. I saw a picture of Lyle Collins. I thought it was you, Z. I was like, dang. I'm infected. Like, man, someone need to get that brother some flicks with some white bread. Not
He's been doing them sit-ups with Dak, man. Dak's got him lose some weight this offseason. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, but it's better than what it was last year, because last year the complaint was that he came in completely out of shape. So this year I think he's out to prove something, comes in shape and starts kind of looking like, you know, like his old self. So that's great news. But you know what? Pet cats. Who is your pet cat? Because we got Hard Knocks, right? We got Hard Knocks, and sorry to the rest of the NFL and your teams for not being as good as our teams. We keep the lights on. That's just how we do things. But who is your pet cat coming up? Who are you excited to see on HBO Hard Knocks? What is your storyline? Who is it? D, give it to me first.
Me? Look, I sort of told you earlier, as a player, I'm waiting to see. Look, I think that Blake Jarwin, you talk about a pet cat, I'm just all in on that guy. If he's healthy, I want to see what he does. I'm telling you guys, I gave you a bold prediction on defense. I think that guy could easily be, I think he's going to sneak up, man. I think he's just going to do something very big. I think, that teams are just not going to scheme for him, and I think he can hurt you. I really do, with his speed. So, look, I'm excited so much for his personality on Hard Knocks, but as a pet cat on offense that I'm rooting for, that sort of, that fourth option that no one's considering, I love Blake Jarwin on this offense and on this team and this roster. I love him.
I like that. Plenty there. Cam, who do you got? Who's your pet cat?
Okay, so I'm pretty much almost positive, especially from some of the stuff I've heard, they're following Zeke and Parsons hardcore.
Oh,
they are going to be like the 2 big main storylines.
Names. Yeah.
It's going to be no surprise that Simi, my pet cat on this one. I think he's going to be an interesting storyline for him because there is such competition for the wide receivers, and he is one of those guys that's right there on the cusp. He really has been making some tough contested catches. and he's the one wide receiver that hasn't already been with the team that I'm actually hearing his name. People are talking somewhat about him, so he's my
does
pet.
This team keep 6 wide receivers? Does it?
I think
keep
they could.
6?
I think they could.
6?
I honestly think they could.
I mean, look, you got Simi, you got the kid Cedric Wilson from Boise, right? And then you got the big 3 and Noah Brown. Ooh, that's going to be a battle.
You got to think back too, though. Simi did take returns, and he was a gunner on special teams at Stanford. So he brings that extra little thing that we might be needing on the special teams. So there's more than one use for him. That's why I think that we may actually go with 6 because of that.
Okay.
If we keep him, we'll go with 6 because I don't think they're going to part ways with Cedric Wilson. It's Wilson, right? Number 11 from Boise? It's
no,
Wilson.
now he's in the 6, right?
Oh, is he 6? Because Parsons
Is it-
took 11. That's right.
He's 6. Yeah, he went
He's
to the.
6.
He's number 6 now.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Chris
I don't
Parsons
think they
is
cut
11.
him. I think they like him. I think they like him. So I just think if Simi stays, they're going to be keeping 6, and I think that's interesting. Anyway,
That's doable.
Like I said,
That's
he can be a gunner on special teams. I'd much rather, and I know we've already gone over this, but CD Lamb taking punt returns. That's like owning a Ferrari and hauling dirt in it.
We're gonna
Not
do
in on
that.
that at all. I'm not in on that at all. The risk is not worth the reward unless the game was on the line. Other than that, let the man go, make his magic as a wide receiver, and let Wilson or a handful of other ones there taking that punt return.
Here's where I'm at with that. With as far as the punt return is concerned, CeeDee Lamb, if I'd give it to him. I give it to him. I'm not going to give it to him all the time. I'm going to give it to him when we need it. That's the way I see it. But to have him, like you're saying, to have him out there just consistently, I don't necessarily believe in that. But if you need a spark, and you feel like that he can provide it for you, he is an explosive player. We all know that. How great is he at returning punts? Not too great that we've seen so far, as according to last year. But it doesn't mean that he's still an explosive player. You want to put the ball in your hands of your playmakers. That's the way the game is played. So I understand both sides to it. I wouldn't give it to him full time. But if you need a spark, I don't see why not. That's
Had
just
Zeke doing some. The first one
I did. I saw
over his
that.
head.
He dropped. Yeah.
He
Yes.
missed it completely.
Yes.
the lost in space robot came on in the field and yelled, "Danger! Don't let this motherfucker return punts."
Yes.
Danger!
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
My guy. So my pet cat is Nick Ralston, the fullback. Undrafted guy. I just watched some of this guy's highlights, and he's like a bowling ball. I just got this feeling of just Mike Allstott coming back from the football grave and just terrorizing everybody, and then just bulldozing people, or some Moose Johnson vibes, and Zeke running the ball. And I just got this vibe, and I wanted it. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm rooting for the guy. He's got some potential from everything that I've seen in his highlights videos. Make sure you check those out if you haven't. He's got some talent, and who knows? Maybe, I haven't heard a lot about him at camp yet, but maybe he's one of those guys who could break in as a fullback and into a tight end. Do y'all think we would keep a fullback? Y'all think we keep a fullback on this roster?
We do every year, it seems. And it's so frustrating as we take up a roster spot for a fullback, and then you never see them make a lick of difference during the year. You never see them make one play. They don't utilize the fullback enough for me
Special teams.
to take up a roster spot. But then, keep a linebacker. Something. I don't know.
Right.
You know what? My answer is I don't know. I don't see them making enough of a difference to keep them.
Yeah.
I think this is the year we don't.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we do.
Too many other weapons.
No.
Well, if there's do we keep 3 tight ends?
Yes. They always keep 3 tight ends.
Okay.
Always.
Who's your third tight end then? McKeon?
I think it's going to be an undrafted free agent. Well, we did sign a guy. I can't remember his name. We signed a guy, but I think it's because of money. I think it's going to come down to money. If one of those, I think we have 2 undrafted free agents. A kid from Michigan, I can't remember where else. Either one of you know? I just think it's going to be if either one of those guys show anything at all. I think we're going to wind up keeping an undrafted free agent there.
Okay. Interesting. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I could see. I mean, definitely. I would think that you roll out with 3, right? If anything happens to one of your other guys, but that's what I'm talking about. Maybe that fullback position is like a flex between fullback, tight end. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see.
I think they've always utilized Noah Brown in that role, in that H-back, not tight end, but that sort of H-back role if they needed someone, because he's a bigger body. And that's what always allowed him to stick on the roster.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and his play in special teams. He's one of those guys that I think can definitely still make the squad again.
Noah Brown?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. I think they love him. I think they love him. And look, he's made the last 3 years. Yeah. And he's so versatile. And I think they love him for his special teams. They can trust him, right? He knows he could play. He can come in as that. You know what I mean, on that blocking side. You know what I mean. He's a big X. And I think in a pinch, he could, he's always part of their big personnel. And by the way, he's actually for the first time last year makes some explosive plays.
Yeah,
he caught the ball pretty well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, going back to what Cam said, I think if what's his face, the kid from Stanford,
Simi Fehoko.
Yeah.
If he shows anything, I think he forces them to keep 6. Which again, going back to your pet cat. Z, I think if they're forced to go long because that kid starts making plays, I don't think that's where you see your the kid Ralston. I think he takes his roster spot because they're going long on the offensive line. They are.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And another thing that was said, Cam, I believe that you had some news about, or was it Williams that got to play at center?
Williams is with the seconds playing center. And they did say he bombed one over, I think it was Uchi's head or Gilbert's head, because, Cooper Rush has not been playing. Cooper Rush, there's something with his back. I mean, he went off first day, and I don't think he played at all today.
That's right.
The one snap went over, but the rest of the time, he was taking snaps at center.
Yeah.
When the 2s were out. Definitely not when the 1s.
Is Ben DiNucci a dead man walking?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
I heard his bad about.
He is. He's a dead man. Well, if Cooper Rush is healthy, he's a dead man walking. Yeah.
See, that's how many quarterbacks do you think that we keep? You think it's just going to be
on the active roster? 2. But I think you're going to have a practice squad.
Practice squad guy.
Kid you keep. Yep.
Probably be DiNucci. So
no, I wouldn't keep him. I'd keep Cooper Rush if he's eligible. Is he practice squad eligible?
Oh, has he been in the league too long?
I'm not sure.
Ooh.
I'm not sure about that.
So do they still have that COVID rule like last year, and it didn't matter how long? Or is that gone? And now we remember because last year we didn't. It didn't matter because they waived it. But I don't know if it's back in effect this year.
So do we think this is Gilbert's job to lose for that backup role?
I do.
Really?
I do too.
Really? Okay. I haven't heard enough. I haven't heard enough about their play so far in practice yet. I've seen them make some plays. I've seen them throw some interceptions. But I don't know. I haven't heard enough yet. So many things are going to change once these pads start coming on. It's hard because just the storylines and so far everything that we're hearing, like you said earlier, D, there's so much. These guys are practicing, they're getting reps, so players are all over the field. You're not sure who's going to be starting or what. I mean, we're a long ways away from that. So we'll see. Once these pads start coming on, I'm ready. I'm already ready for I'm ready for the Steelers. I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to see some in-game action. Yeah.
Are we 10 days?
Is it 10 days?
10 days from the Hall of Fame game.
Wow.
Thursday the 5th.
Wow.
10 days. And
that's going to be a beautiful thing.
Get out.
Jimmy Johnson, Drew Pearson, I mean, to see those guys too finally get what they deserve, man, and that's going to be interesting. I saw that Troy Aikman's actually going to be. He's going to be doing Jimmy Johnson's. He's going to be doing the introduction thing for Jimmy Johnson.
And he was at camp. And he was at camp today.
Yeah, I saw that.
Who was?
Was at camp today. Troy was at camp
Troy
today.
Aikman. I thought you said Jimmy Johnson.
No.
You sure?
That's interesting, man. Yeah, but you know what? But they did. Jerry, like, he kind of lost. He had a little bit of some tears on that opening little press conference that he did, and he.
Jerry Jones is.
You think he's putting on a show?
Seriously,
put on a show.
He's full of shit because
for the cameras, for the Hard Knock cameras.
If he meant it, seriously, guys, if he meant it, then Jimmy Johnson would be in the ring of he'd be in the Ring of Fame like right now, the Ring of Honor. I'm sorry, like right now, he would make him this season. He would be in the ring if he meant any of that.
Yeah.
If he's admitting that he effed up the relationship and Jimmy was a great coach and he's going into the Hall of Fame, how do you not put the guy in your Ring of Honor, but he's in the Hall of Fame? Jerry Jones irks me with some of his antics and his bullshit sometimes. Sorry, Jerry.
I'm not mad at that. I agree with you. I mean, a part of me felt like it was real, and then, you know, as I was kind of listening, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, how much of this is for the cameras? How much of this is for Hard Knocks right now? You're putting on a show, and how much of this is really? Do you think that you actually fucked it up? Because I don't know. Like you said, he would be in the Ring of Honor. It should have happened a long time ago. I think that I don't understand why it hasn't happened. Maybe he's waiting on something special. I don't know. I don't even know that Jimmy Johnson would accept it at this point in time.
Of course he would.
You think so? Even all the history there, the spite.
Absolutely.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Yeah. Without a doubt. I don't know, Cam. What do you think?
Oh no, knowing Jimmy, tell him to eat a gravel sandwich. I don't.
Right.
I
know Jimmy's calmed down over the years.
Jimmy. Yeah.
But
I don't
Jimmy,
know.
guys, that's his legacy. The Cowboys are as much as Jimmy Johnson's, those 90 years, as much as his legacy. And it isn't about Jerry Jones when you go into the Ring of Honor. That's about the organization. That's about, you know, your accomplishment as in your profession. You're not walking away from that because of, you know, you don't like the owner. You know what I mean? I don't know. I wish those two guys, that's the one thing I think is, as grown-ups, man, it's like, come on. I think it irritates a bunch of us as fans to hear Jerry talk that and not do the right thing. I mean, that's clearly the right thing to do when it comes to Jimmy Johnson, to give the guy his due for what he accomplished, you know, here with this organization. Not to have him, it just, to me, it taints the whole thing. Everything that Jerry does with that Ring of Honor after, you know, it just taints it. It's like you're being petty.
It's true. It's true. Do the right thing, Jerry. You heard the man. Get it done. Make it happen. That is all.
All right, y'all. It's cookout time.
That's right. That's right. That is all. Make sure, as always, to like and subscribe so this man can get some damn barbecue. Okay?
Not just barbecue. Them hot links with the white bread.
Sorry, the hot links. Make sure he gets the hot links. Like and subscribe, people. We out.
Peace.